Hey everybody, I'm Seth Jones, editor-in-chief of Golfdom Magazine. Very excited to be doing another episode of Zoom Views. My next guest is the president of the New Hampshire GCSA chapter. He is the superintendent at Pease Golf Course in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. A cool 27-hole course facility out there, unique in many ways. I haven't known this superintendent for too long, but we've become good friends in that short time. I'm very, it's easy to say this, He's got bad taste in sports teams, but good taste in magazines. So, well, we still manage to get along. It's my pleasure to welcome EJ Chea. EJ, thanks for being here with me, man.
Hey, thanks, Seth. Appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. Fix me on that. What's the name of the, what's right adjoins your guys' golf course there?
It was formerly the Pease Air Force Base, and then once the Air Force Base shut down in the early 90s, it has now become the Pease International Airport and Trade Port.
Okay. What kind? And you see all sorts of crazy aircraft in there, right? Like Air Force One pops in there once in a while and stuff, right?
Yeah, although the Air Force Base closed, the National Guard still has an active chapter out of here, the 157th, and they fly KC-135 refueling tankers. So pretty much any military plane on the East Coast usually gets filled up in midair by a tanker out of Pease.
That's cool. Very cool.
Plus, the airport itself now has become a public airport. We have the small but pretty reliable airline Allegiant in here doing flights, and the airport also sees a lot of cargo action.
Nice, nice. So EJ, let's talk some golf. First, I guess tell me about for the folks who aren't familiar with Pease Golf Course. Can you talk to me about your facility?
Sure. Pease Golf Course is a 27-hole public facility. We're unique in many ways. We are literally abutting an active runway. You can literally be on our 10th green putting when Air Force One or an F-22 Raptor comes in to land or take off, which is kind of a very unique experience that we have. Along with that, we are a very, very busy facility. We average over 50,000 rounds a year in a short northern New England window, which is great. But obviously, with the COVID-19 times we live in, our facility is certainly going to have a couple hurdles, being so busy being the number one hurdle we're looking at right now.
Okay, so let's talk about what's going on with golf in New Hampshire. I know give me the update.
We were fortunate to have a very mild winter this year, and that allowed many courses to open up earlier than normal. So some courses were open in mid to late March, until the governor issued his first executive order shuttering all essential businesses, non-essential businesses, I'm sorry. We were very fortunate through a lot of our lobbying efforts to get golf course maintenance exempt or listed as an essential job. So we were able to take care of our courses, but golf has been closed in New Hampshire since the end of March. And as of Monday, May 11th, which is right around the corner, that is our reopening date.
Okay, all right. I guess, what does it mean to you guys? When you reopen, what's that going to look like?
We are adhering to the kind of countrywide general plan of what they're calling park and play. Obviously, we're going to have no food and beverage operations, no clubhouse, no pro shop, no practice facilities, no driving range, no chipping areas. It's really a simple philosophy of trunk to trunk is how we've kind of coined it. Get your clubs out of your trunk, play your golf, put your clubs back in your trunk, and go home. We are really trying to eliminate any touch points on the golf course like every other state's doing. Flag sticks will stay in, bunker rakes, ball washers, trash cans have all been removed. Single rider per cart. All carts and equipment will be disinfected daily after each use. And probably one of the things for us that's going to be the toughest is being a 27-hole facility in mid-May, we would be rocking and rolling by now. We'd be looking at 300 to 400 rounds a day. And I know that sounds like a lot, but that's kind of our norm. But we are going to a 12-minute tee time interval, and we are also only going to operate 18 of the 27 holes to start. Both of those are just to create as much distance as possible across the facility. And then the governor has a second phase in his larger state plan. We have a second phase of golf also, and hopefully the two will line up, and that would be May 31st. The governor is going to issue a new executive order at that date. Hopefully golf will be allowed to maintain and continue on to phase 2, which would then kind of open up pro shops, some retail, the practice facilities, but still a pretty good step away from where we would normally.
Okay, so EJ, with the change and what the pandemic has done to, you guys are a public course, you guys are busy, you pack a lot in the summers, obviously. Have you guys, what's your thoughts on what this does to your business there at Pease?
I'm very, very fortunate to work for basically an entity of the state of New Hampshire is how the Pease golf course is run. Therefore, we are probably set up a little bit better to weather a storm like this than maybe some other clubs. That being said, budgets have been reworked already and will continue to be looked at as the process moves forward. For one example, I don't envision hiring any new staff at all this year. Again, I'm very fortunate that I have a great core of employees who return every year. That's going to enable us to put out a pretty good product still without the need for maybe some excessive labor. But all in all, we're looking at about a third across the board as far as revenues of what we are potentially going to be losing out on this year.
Wow. Okay. How is the New Hampshire chapter doing? You guys staying in touch with each other? You guys communicating with each other?
We are. We've conducted our last 2 board of directors meeting for the chapter via Zoom. It's been good. It's been as good as you can hope for. We have constantly provided the membership updates every step of the way. I will say that I've seen it across some other chapters and states, but this is probably the most, what's the word I'm looking for? This is probably the best all the different golf associations have ever worked together, in my opinion. The New Hampshire Golf Association, the superintendents, the New Hampshire chapter of the PGA, the New England Golf Course Owners Association. We have all sat at the table together through all these different changes and proposals. And I think in the long run, the state / the governor really noticed that as an industry, we were leaps and bounds ahead of some other industries on what we could do and what we couldn't do and how much time we put into it. And I think that effort showed by A, letting golf maintenance be exempt, and B, allowing golf starting May 11th, which is literally the first thing the governor has opened up in our state, is golf. We have a funny joke going around that we beat Jesus Christ back to work because the churches are still closed right now, but golf will be allowed to be open. So we did our due diligence, I would say. Again, kudos to all the different organizations. We really worked well on this together, which I think is just a great stepping stone for the future. When the word golf comes up, it's not just individuals now. We're all kind of taking our own part in the industry.
Good, good. How weird is it to not have any golfers out there yet? How weird is it to be just doing right now what you're doing in your everyday life? I mean, grocery store, et cetera. What's it like to be in your shoes right now?
It's obviously taken some getting used to. Again, hinting on we've had a really, really terrible spring this year. So if there's any silver lining, that's been at least okay because rounds would be pretty much non-existent through the month of April, how bad the weather was. So we've been getting by. This is the first week I've been able to bring a few crew members back in under some very strict guidelines. But starting this week, it's starting to feel a little bit more back to normal. Again, maintaining a facility that you can put 400 players a day through it and not seeing anybody has definitely been weird. We are so conditioned here to be always on the lookout, head on a swivel. We're such a busy place that it's taken a little getting used to be able to drive around kind of in the middle of the day and do whatever you need. But we're all looking forward to getting back to it. My mechanic, my assistant, my foreman, we're all year round. So I've had those 3 staff members with me throughout. They've been great making any adjustments we need to. And other than that, again, I can't stress enough that we are a tourism kind of coastal town. And downtown Portsmouth, for anybody who listens to this is your quintessential New England downtown with all kinds of high-end restaurants, bars, pubs, very walker friendly. And driving through town these days, it is exactly what you'd expect. It is a ghost town. There is tumbleweed blowing down Main Street in Portsmouth right now.
Yeah, yep, that's the way it is here in Lawrence too. And at the time I got to spend in Portsmouth, it's a charming town with a lot of great breweries, a few of which we visited. So
Sure.
looking forward to getting it back to normal. So, well, hey EJ, I appreciate you taking the time to check in with me today. Sounds like you guys are all doing pretty good up there, as best as you can.
Best as we can. Same for everybody. I wish everybody the best, and still hope for a great golf season for 2020.
Good. EJ, I got one more thing for you. I was going to wear it for the interview, but just let me know if you need me to send you one of these, okay?
Well, I will let you have your one championship in 50 years to yourself. My son knows that we have 11 in the last 20, so I think we're doing all right here in New England.
I wasn't going to ask anything I wasn't going to say anything about Tom Brady, by the way.
Well, I guess that is the other thing. I mean, joking aside, obviously, we didn't really need Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay, and then the Gronk thing was just rubbing it in our face. That was pretty bad too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the fans are going to still vote for Tom and Gronk. Belichick has definitely ended up as the bad guy in all this. So it'll be a very interesting football season. Kind of see where everybody lines up.
Perfect. And it is nice to get some of those stories too, because it gives you something to watch on SportsCenter. So, okay,
Absolutely.
EJ, great to see you, man. You guys take care. Okay, my best to your family.
Same to you, Seth. Appreciate it. Take care.
Okay, everybody, this is EJ Chea. He's at Pease Golf Course in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I'm Seth Jones, Golfdom Magazine. Thanks for checking in with us here at Golfdom's Zoom Views.